6 Days of Fallujah was literally cancelled by Konami because it was developed too soon after a real Iraqi war battle 10 years ago. Now, the game was resurrected by Hyrule Games, which is led by Halo's lead developer and designer, and the soundtrack will be made by Marty O'Donnell. The game will be published by Victoria Games, and Hyrule Games is again made by ex-Halo and Destiny devs. The video game takes place in the second battle of Fallujah in 2004, and it's being made and designed with historical accuracy in mind. Basically, a war documentary masquerading as a grounded and semi-realistic take on the video game genre. It'll be a tactical first-person shooter with procedurally generated level design and dynamic AI mirroring what Iraqi insurgents were behaving at the time. It's not Battlefield, it's not Medal of Honor, it's not Squad, it's not Armada. It's more like a full spectrum warrior that's basically Halo, but more like ODST, but set in the real world. Now, the game, when it was first announced in 2004, has controversy, but this time, the real controversy with the resurrected version of the game will come not from anti-war activists, but rather video game journalists who have no real interest in video games and game developers of all people. These are the same people who hated the 2019 reset of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Note, I said reset, not reboot, because it's not really a reboot of the story, but rather a resetting of the game to start over fresh with a new timeline. Because, now let me say it again, these are the same people who hate the 2019 reset of Call of Duty Modern Warfare because it's set as a military thriller rather than a generic first-person shooter blockbuster. Now, in the context of political games, I have no objection to political games or games with political themes, as long as they're well made, and if it sends a political message, it's wrapped around a good presentation, writing, good characters, gameplay. I mean, as long as I don't notice it, I have no objection to it. What I do have a problem are games that are designed solely for a partisan political message. And for people that are opposed to this game, they hate it because it sends a political message, but not the type they want. The type they want is partisan propaganda. Now, this manufactured outrage was started by Vice Games with the article by Rob Zatney called 6 Days in Fallujah. Why is it back? It's called 6 Days in Fallujah is back. And for why and who? Why? Because it's 10 years from now. We should really study from history, and a video game would be a good idea for it. And for who? People who are interested to see what actually happened in Fallujah, behind the news headlines, behind the politics. Then Polygon, the same outlet that got pissed when Massive Entertainment told them while the Division 2 had political themes, it does not send a political partisan message. They made a similar article about 6 Days in Fallujah. Now, it's worth noting that more than 100 Marines and some Iraqi citizens were actually involved in this game, gave them their details, their story, and some of the Marines actually told them their stories. Some of the families actually mentioned that these Marines actually wanted to participate in them so that their sacrifices in Iraq will not be in vain. The war vet families actually supported this game because they don't want their sacrifices in these battles to be in vain. They don't want their depths to be in vain. And then there's this another article by James Hawley basically begging to the public, please don't release 6 Days in Fallujah. No, it's going to be released. And if you don't like the game, just don't play it. I mean, if you don't like the message, as in the real consequences of war started by politicians, if you don't like how the game is presented, as in it presents multiple different perspectives of the war, instead of propagating a straight narrative, then simply don't buy the game. But that's real. But here's the thing: they're motivated by this game. They actually hate it. And seriously, this anger at this game really continued. It really kicked off when the developers of the game gave a notice on Twitter, basically saying that this game is presented in this sort of fashion. Play the game for ourselves and think for yourselves. Draw your own conclusions. And with the current state of journalism that has completely devolved into yellow journalism and political propaganda, they got pissed off that the game is going to be not the way they want. Now, the ulterior motive was later revealed themselves that they created a petition to be sent to the UN, the Biden-Harris administration, to outlaw the game, to ban the game from being sold. Not only what they're asking the feds to do is to take an unconstitutional action. This is considered a group boycott by the FTC, or the Federal Trade Commission. This reveals the real purpose of getting this game cancelled, by getting rid of potential competition through extra-legal and unlawful actions. Since the developers are outside the mainstream game industry / clique, they don't want the developers to gain a foothold of success. And if they did gain a foothold of success in polishing the game, this will prove that games that are based in grounded reality, are viable. An emergent genre of non-fictional field games / documentaries could eat their lunch and prevent games with political propagandized messages to be successful. Basically, they're pissed that 6 Days of Fallujah is not a garden variety Call of Duty game. It is a serious game that's basically a documentary disguised as a video game. And that petition that they want the game banned is from people from all sorts of studios from the mainstream industry. They're offended by this game, but not offended by the genocide in mainland China. They're not offended by the genocide in mainland China in Xinjiang, or the current involvement, or the U.S. current involvement in the Syrian civil war. Video game journalists and game devs hate this game, but people will buy it. The game is ideologically offensive to them, but people that are hungry for entertainment, for escapism, in this dystopian and catastrophic world will buy it. Journalists hate ideological diversity or nuance-driven games. They just either want games that are generic, mainstream, or send a political decisive message. And the consumers don't want generic garbage anymore. They want escapism. They want fun. It's past time that the game industry and the video game journalist industry has to recognize that. And if they don't, everything negative, everything bad that is coming to them, they deserve it. This is Jkid from Ministry of Otaku, signing out for now.